Nigel, okay?
I did, thank you very much, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I couldn't.
That's fine, I was reading the book, but it's cool.
I'm okay to go for this, Nigel, here we are in the second leg. It's going to be a full house. It's still going to be a great occasion, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and whatever the score was in the first game, if it had been 4-0, the game would have been over. So it's well and truly over now, but we're still going to enjoy it just the same. The likelihood of us ever getting through, even making the second leg competitive, the chances were very slim of that. And I think everybody accepted that before the first game, so we're just going to enjoy it. We're sold out. Our supporters are going to enjoy seeing some of the best players, not just in the country, in the world, we hope. As you know, we don't particularly enjoy seeing them. We didn't in the first game, but I'm sure they will, the supporters will, because they might never ever come to this ground again.
And again, getting to the semi-finals of the Caribbean Cup, marvellous achievement for Albion, and these games don't come around very often,
no.
So an occasion to say that.
Probably never happen again. To beat the teams that we did to get here, first of all, and then to find yourself in the last four, with Man City, Chelsea and Tottenham. And I think what will strike them more than anything, probably the players and the staff, is when they see our little ground and the size of the club we are. I think they'll ask themselves, I hope, how did they actually get to the last four of the major cup competition? And that'll be, I want them to take that away more than anything else, and then they might sort of comprehend just a little bit the scale of the achievement.
And being at home, will that give the players a little bit more confidence, the fact that their own supporters?
Yeah, I think so. I think we've played, our performances here this season have been very, very good in the league and in the cup as well. We want to keep playing exactly as we are at the moment. I think we've been playing well for about 6-8 weeks now. Not always getting the results because defensively we haven't done well enough. But certainly attacking wise, we want to try and repeat that if we can. It depends what they let us do, but we want to try and set out with that intention.
And players, I guess they can win their little battles against the players, can't they? If one of them didn't get the ball in the back of the net. I mean, there's a little moments that they can save it and learn from the experience. Yeah,
little milestones. We'll be looking to, to take some pride out of the game as well and the result if we can. But the individual little milestones as well as just getting on the pitch, like little Joe Sabara getting 10 or 15 minutes, at Manchester 10 days ago. He'll remember that for the rest of his life. And if anybody can get a goal against them, it's these little milestones that are very important in a player's career.
And we've got Bradford obviously on Saturday.
Yeah, far more important.
I was going to ask you that. That's got to be the main, still the main focus as far as that, isn't it?
Definitely. Yeah, we've got 3 home games now on the spin in the next 10 days, and Bradford and Oxford are the most important 2 out of those 3. So we were delighted with the reaction 4 days, or less than that, 2.5 days after the first leg. To get battered 9-0 and then bounce back with the performance that we got. So we somehow contrived to lose the game, despite having more efforts than Manchester City had against us 2.5 days earlier. But the reaction of the players, both physically and mentally, was spot on. And I think we're going to need that on Saturday after the second leg.
And I guess that last minute goal on Saturday, great confidence booster not to lose that game, get something of depth to start this week.
Yeah, very important, because we've lost 1 in the last 6 in the league. And say no way should we have lost that against Gillingham, so it should be a 6-game unbeaten run in the league now. And then we've got 2 home games coming up, but I think that that last minute equaliser from an unlikely source has lifted everybody.
Thanks very much.
Nigel, you talked about defensive solidity, putting aside that first leg at Manchester City for the moment, but you brought in Colin Daniel, and obviously Josh Clark had a start as well at the weekend. Is that the kind of mettle you're looking for from both of those?
Yeah, just a bit more experience in certain areas. That's been the area which we've struggled all season, not kept enough clean sheets, despite it being an area that we identified at the start of the season as having that's out with our most experienced area of the team, but it hasn't happened, so we have to sort of look at different ways of trying to change it and tweak it, so we can keep a few more clean sheets, because there's not too much wrong with our play going forward. We've had over 60 efforts in the last 3 games, league games, and 2 out of those 3 games were away from home. So we can't attack anymore, we can't set out to go forward anymore. Certainly we can be a bit more clinical finishing the chances, but we have to back that up defensively, and that's what we haven't done this season.
You said that Colin Daniels a left-sided defender. Is that now competition for places? Because obviously Damien McCrory's not in the side either. Rhys Hutchinson has had a very good run, but he's extremely young.
Yeah, and Rhys has played many more games than we expected to, and done absolutely brilliant, but he will need a breather at some point. But Colin can play anywhere up the left-hand side, and even as a centre-forward. We've liked him over a number of seasons, so he's just one of those. I think he's as close as you'll get probably to another Lucas Akins. Not quite as many different positions he can play, but that sort that can fill in and help us out, and he's certainly got the experience.
What's the state of your squad going into tomorrow night's game, and what kind of side do you put out, knowing that Bradford is the more important game, but also at the back of your mind you don't want another beating?
Ideally not, no. That'll depend upon Manchester City more than it will depend on us, I think. We've been playing the youngsters, so we might put some experience out there, a little bit more experience against Manchester City, we'll see. We've certainly got a couple of knocks. Scott Fraser came off on Saturday, he's had a scan on his knee. Jamie Allen came off, his ankle's been very sore now for the last 4 weeks or more, he's been playing with it, so there are doubts. Colin Daniels not eligible, and Josh Clark's cup tied, so we're a few down before we start.
It's hard, I guess, for you to try and think about what they're going to do, because Pep Guardiola's got an enormous squad and he's got a load of youngsters as well, and he's not going to want to put out the most experienced players ahead of the weekend either. No,
we won't be wasting too much time on wondering which side they're going to play, and even when the team sheet comes through, the players just have to go out and just give everything they can and play, and try and play in the same vein. And we did try to start the game like that at Manchester 10 days ago. I think up to the second goal, that was about in the half-hour mark. We were not holding our own, but we were hanging on in there, and we'd had a great opportunity ourselves to go 1-1, and then the avalanche starts sort of after that and in the second half. But we want to start with that same intention, try and play, try and press, and see if we can get a goal. If we can get a goal, that would be a wonderful achievement.
I guess it's that kind of thing. Marcus Harness had the chance, didn't he? And it's that belief that suddenly goes around the team that's on the pitch saying we could cause them problems.
Yeah, and we did, I thought, early on. And then when you miss the chance, that could be the one, and then they get a couple more. And I think the one just before half time when the cross went in, he went to cross it and he went in the top corner. Little things like that go against you, but the players have to go out and enjoy it, as much as difficult as it is, and we take nothing even now from the beating we took up there, but when you look back in a few weeks, months time, we'll learn a lot from it.
You were not too happy about the goals conceded at the Etihad, where they could have done better in certain situations. I guess that is the main message tomorrow night.
Yeah, it is, but that's been the case all season, not just at Manchester. It's just that they're that much better, they punish you much more, but that's been the case, our problem defensively all season. I don't think we get quite tight enough. I don't think we have that ultimate desire at times to keep the ball out of our net as much as we should.
Do you think some of the players, having been involved in that first leg, go into this game with an element of fear? They can't help go into it with an element of fear?
Oh, definitely, yeah. I've just watched Manchester City twice on the TV, not for any other reason than the game was on, and they did the same against Wolves and they did the same against Huddersfield, and Huddersfield from the first few minutes at home, another Premier League side, was sitting in their own penalty area. So it's very difficult for us halfway up League One to do anything different at times, and in terms of the way those two games went against fellow Premier League teams, they dominated just the same as they dominated us. They're a bit better defensively, the other team, so they don't concede 9. But in terms of the way the game goes, it's just the same.
Did you see anything in there that you could sort of take that you could hurt them with?
No. Huddersfield obviously watched them and didn't think that, and very little in Wolves. Despite going out of 10 men after 20 minutes when they play Wolves, Manchester City had 78% possession against them. That's with 11 on 11. And this is Wolves, who are top half good Premier League side. So we'll do that to most teams.
Finally, what do you say to the team when you're sending them? Got an email there. What do you say to the team when they're going out? The last thing you say to them in a game like this, in a game that's a dead rubber, as it were?
I don't know, just get out of it what you can, you know. It's very difficult to find the words, you know. It was after the 9-0 defeat, so it'll be more about what we can do looking forward to Saturday, how we can limit the damage, anything, and make sure we're in good shape for Bradford and then Oxford the week after, because unfortunately they're our priorities.
And just one more about January transfer window. Obviously there's Pep Guardiola's academy, etc., and he benefited from that in the past. Is a conversation likely to happen, see if he's got any people that fancy some League One experience?
Yeah, well, that's always the case. We took Jacob Davenport from there, and he had a wonderful 3 or 4 months with us, and then they ended up, I think, getting money for him and selling him to Blackburn. So they know that you know, we will play them. We'll play the youngsters. We'll try and play in the right way, and if they want experience, then we're here. I think probably when he sees the size of the club that we are tonight, and you know, it'll look a bit from the outside, but when you actually come and see, you know, the difference, you might think differently.